Welcome to the Confident Host podcast with me, Kay Gibbs. If you're a holiday let host or co-host looking for more bookings, more efficiencies, and to get ahead, then you are in the right place. Each episode brings you practical tips, real stories, and expert advice. On today's episode, it's 7 lessons I've learned as a host that I wish I'd known from the beginning. They're easy to action, and if you're at the beginning of your journey or somewhere in the middle, there'll be something useful for you. So let's get started. On today's podcast, it's me talking to you solo and offering 7 insights that I have learned through my many years and many properties that I've hosted, and that I kind of wish I knew at the beginning. I think it would have been easier. So take heed, whether you are a new host or an experienced one. I hope there'll be something here to offer you that you can go forward with. We've got 7. Are you ready? Number 1. Over occupancy. When I first started hosting, we had a 3-bed semi and we used to let out 2 of the rooms, and it was the first time we'd used Airbnb, first time we'd been holiday let hosts, and we needed the money. That's kind of why we were doing it. And we had one particular occasion where we were asked to host 5 guests instead of 4, which was our maximum because it was 2 double bedrooms. They said, oh, we'll bring our own blow up and we'll do this and we'll do that and we'll bring towels, that person. And I just kind of thought, oh, okay, well, that should be okay. I'm sure they'll be really grateful. It'll be good. And it wasn't. It was one of the harder hosting experiences I've had. Certainly the hardest one we had at that house. And actually almost definitely the worst hosting experience I've had sort of in the moment. I've had like stains and stuff afterwards. But in terms of actually going on at the time, I think it was the worst one. And it's because if someone is looking to over-occupy, they're pushing the boundaries. And if they're the kind of guest that wants to push the boundaries, they'll push other boundaries too. So, it wasn't a complete disaster. These guys basically got drunk and let my shiny new kittens out onto the garden at the front where they hadn't been allowed. I rescued the kittens. It was fine. I actually shouted at the guest because it was in my home and I was inexperienced at the time. And they had a van with them. And one of them just slept in the van that the one had been really drunk and let the kittens out. So it was fine. The outcome was fine. And they actually left us a really good review out of guilt, I think. But the lesson is, if they're asking for too much, and I say the same, if people ask you for a discount, I always say no to those guests. Whether or not they end up wanting to pay full price, I'll still say no because they were a bit cheeky to ask, You've got your terms and conditions, you've got how it works for you, and those people who push the boundaries, my experience has been, are likely to push more boundaries. Number 2, photos. Photos matter more than you can imagine before you start out. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted here. Photos are our biggest selling asset, and in the decade I've been doing this, that has become even more true. Photos speak 1,000 words and all that, and they really do. If you haven't got professional pictures for your place, I would strongly consider getting them. Next on the podcast, we've got Cy Ranshaw coming on, who is a brilliant photographer who travels around the country taking photos of properties beautifully, it must be said. He's an expert, but you'll have others nearby that you can look at too, and it's just so worthwhile. Even for my little place, the Snug, the cost of a weekend stay covers the cost of those photos, and we get so many more bookings thanks to having them. I can use them across all of my social media. If I had a website, I'd use it there. On my emails that I was just talking about, I might use it on my Airbnb listing, everywhere. The better the quality of photos, just the better your place looks. You're able to use fewer photos because they properly showcase the place, which means that people are more likely to see more of your place. And it also just looks more professional. It looks like you're invested in it. You've spent so much time curating this beautiful space. Make sure the photos do it justice. If you make one investment in marketing, it should be photos. It's just me coming on to interrupt me to tell you about Confident Host Circle. And I've got a special extra for you this month. Confident Host Circle opens on the 1st of March, so you can get involved. Right now, you can go and subscribe. And our March hot seat guest is, in fact, Cy Ranshaw. So you will be able to ask him anything and everything photography and get your questions answered live by Cy. Our theme for March is photography, so you can use that on your listings, on your social media, on your websites, and we'll be tweaking lots of what you do to optimize it. And obviously we'll have Cy as our special guest expert too. And even better, members of Confident Host Circle receive a 5% discount when they book their photography through Cy. And frankly, folks, why wouldn't you? Confident Host Circle is all about confidence, clarity, consistency. We tackle all sorts of elements of your business to optimize what you're doing, and we do it together so it doesn't feel like a lonely sport anymore. To find out more, head to my website and look for Confident Host Circle or www.kaygibbs.com/confident host. And of course, ask me anything you like. back to the podcast. Number 3, guests who pay you the least don't always have the lowest expectations. And in fact, sometimes the opposite can be true. So whenever I've lowered my prices for whatever reason, last minute discount or whatever, which I don't tend to do anymore for this reason, and we get a booking, I think, oh, this guest's got an absolute bargain. They're going to love it. They're going to mark me so high for value. If they come through Facebook, they're going to give me a really great review. Actually, my experience has been those guests that pay the least can often be the most critical of what you've got to offer, especially on Airbnb, I would say. And that can be so frustrating because you think, my goodness, you've got such good value here. So I would advise that you just don't lower your price. I see so often on hosting forums, people saying, I'm not getting the bookings I want, and others saying, lower your price. Well, for various reasons, absolutely wouldn't lower your price too far. It needs to work for you, but you'll also attract guests who can tend to have higher expectations. And as I talked about in the episode all about my Airbnb experiment, actually, price isn't the thing that drives bookings on Airbnb. If you want to look that podcast up, do. It's called My Airbnb Experiment, and it's all about how momentum trumps price. And I had some quite shocking result with an experiment I undertook. I would always advise optimizing your listing before you think about lowering your price, because it's probably something else going on. That means you haven't built up momentum. I do Airbnb listing reviews, so if you'd like one of those, have a look on my website, www.kaygibbs.com, and you'll find out about those. Don't just lower your price, is what I'm saying. Right, we're on to number 4. Facebook is your best friend, especially if you start early in your journey. It can be such a huge win. It's free. It's a brilliant place to advertise. I had a business before that I ran on Facebook before we started holiday letting. And so I'd had kind of practice at how to grow that, how to network, what to include. And when we started a holiday let, I knew it was going to be a good plan to get started right away. So I did. And I started gathering reviews from people, and I started getting engagement from people, and people started sharing it with their friends who might also like to come to stay. And it for us has been a huge win. That investment that I've made over time means I don't actually put a huge amount into my Facebook page anymore. It takes me a couple of hours a month, and yet it brings in just over a third of our bookings, which is amazing. And it doesn't cost me a penny. I've never paid for adverts there. So I would advise, whether you're right at the beginning of your journey or very well established, get yourself a Facebook page. It's a great asset to building bookings. And if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't take direct bookings, then A, perhaps you should. But B, you can always use a Facebook page initially to send people to your booking.com listing or your Airbnb listing or whatever else it is. Or if you're with an agent, you can use it to send via them. Although, let's get you away from that agent as soon as we can. I run something called Facebook Fix each year, and that is definitely something to look up if you've not already completed it. It will transform how your Facebook page performs for you. So again, you can find details about that on my website. But even if you don't think Facebook Fix is for you, please start a Facebook page. You will definitely benefit from it, and doing Facebook Fix would make it even better. Our next one, and this is about an email list. So often, those of us who start hosting holiday let business isn't something we've necessarily done before. So the concept of an email list is maybe kind of a bit alien. It certainly was to me. And I missed this boat with our first let, for sure. I've not missed another one since. So an email list can be as simple as a bit of paper in your office or on your dining room shelf that's got emails recorded on it. It needs to be secure. It needs to be safely stored away, but just has email addresses of people who've come to stay. Collect those email addresses, record them with, something about those guests, what they enjoyed. And an email list being used can be really as simple as just sending out an email 4 times a year if you want. Just telling people, here's some stuff that's happened with us, here's why you might want to come, and here's the availability we've got. It really can be that simple. As you grow and you have thousands on your email list, you might decide you want to invest in, some of the software that you can get online. Fine. But it's not necessary, and don't let that put you off. I often say that to people. Whatever the tech is that you see other people doing, it's going to be a good idea, but that doesn't mean you have to do it, and it shouldn't hold you back. So collect some people's email addresses. Even if, in the next season you collect 10 email addresses, they will be so powerful. A returning guest is the easiest guest to book. They're already warm. So get those email lists going. Number 6 is big agents are not better than you at marketing your place. You are the best at marketing your place. You might not be a marketing expert. I wasn't at the beginning, and I certainly wouldn't consider myself a marketing expert across the board now. But when it comes to marketing holiday lets, I've got it nailed. And you absolutely can learn that trade too. And the thing is with marketing, sure, there's skills and shortcuts and techniques and also technology that can make that really easy. But at the crux of it is you showing what makes your place special, telling people why you bought it, why you care, why you chose to make it a holiday let, why you're invested, why you love hosting, what makes the area amazing. No big agency is going to be able to do that for you. You will always market your place best because you know it best, but also because you are so invested. Lots of people approach me at the beginning of their journey and ask whether or not joining a big agent is a good idea. And actually, some people will approach me and say, I'm joining an agency because I've seen this and I'm really nervous. Now, it's in the big agent's interest to make you feel nervous, to make you feel like you're not able to do it yourself, when actually a lot of them are simply marketing agencies. So they will market your place, they will list your place, and they do get big footfall on their websites. But that doesn't mean that that translates to as much footfall on your particular listing as you would be able to get if you did it yourself. They can't compete with Airbnb or Booking.com. They're massive. So if you list properly yourself on Airbnb or Booking.com, sure, you're going to pay their commission, but you're going to be in complete control and able to create something that fully represents what's on offer. It is personal for you. Of course it is. Of course you're always going to do the best job because it matters so much. Emotionally and financially, let's be honest. Marketing agents also aren't there to make sure you're doing everything well. Sometimes people tell me they kind of get told how to do things like get this kind of bed or get a barbecue, and that's going to make all the difference to your bookings. And they might make a difference around the edges. But essentially, these agents are there to sell your space. They're not there to advise you. And you should trust yourself that you know what you're doing. So if you're tempted to go with an agent because they might offer you advice about the fire regulations or the planning permission, then get your hands on my free guide, Step 1 Starting Out. Look up PASC and look up the fire regs. There's links to both of those in that guide. And you will be able to do it for yourself. And not just you'll be able to, but it is your legal responsibility. Just because you're with an agent, that doesn't take that responsibility away. Similarly, some agents will manage cleaning for you, and that's a real asset. That's something that is worth paying commission for sure. If they're going to manage all the cleaning and all the maintenance, that's a different thing. And that might be something you want to do if you live at distance. But lots of the time, they don't even do that. So make sure you're really clear on what it is that they're doing. And if it's the marketing that bothers you, you can do this. There are lots of ways I can support you. Some of them are free and you can absolutely do it by yourself. Save yourself a packet and enjoy it more. Get so much more back from it because you'll feel like you're in control. I get so many hosts. It's probably my biggest work now is people moving away from the agents that have let them down, that have massively underpriced them, and them starting to learn to list themselves. And they come at it nervous because they've been kind of brainwashed into thinking that going with an agent's the only way to go. Give it a bash yourself and you'll be on to a winner. And number 7, this one's a really simple, practical one. Bedding. When I first started out, I always went for white bedding. I personally just like white bedding. And when I started out, I had these pristine, 100% cotton, white duvet covers, pillowcases, blah, blah, blah. And ironing was intense. My other half and I would have an ironing session at least once a week where we would just try and get on top of everything, iron it. We'd pack it away really neatly, but then when we got it out, it would still be a little bit crinkly. It was so frustrating. And then I discovered waffle bedding. It's not for everyone, but I love waffle bedding. It's been the biggest single time saver in my hosting journey. I use waffle pillowcases, I use waffle duvet covers, and they're still 100% cotton. And I only iron the pillowcases now just to make sure they look ironed, to make it look, because they're flat anyway because of the waffle, but I iron a little cross in them to make sure everyone knows I've ironed these. That's my 7 things I wish I'd known at the beginning. I look forward to hearing which one of those times for you. Thanks for listening to the Confident Host podcast with me, Kay Gibbs. You can find more episodes wherever you normally get your podcasts and on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and share away with fellow hosts. You can also follow me on Facebook, where I can usually be found, and also on Instagram for lots more tips and discussion. And if you would like to take your hosting journey further, join me in Confident Host Circle, my membership that brings you consistency, confidence, and community while you grow your business. Next time, I am delighted to be talking with the UK's best holiday let photographer, Cy Ranshaw, about everything he would tell us if he weren't afraid of hurting our feelings, and he does not pull his punches. There's lots of juice in this one, so I look forward to sharing that with you. See you next time.